Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at the top 10 cards from Journey Together. The set is out very, very soon. But what's actually going to see play? Which cards are going to be good? Which ones are going to be making their way into decks? I've been having a good old look at the set. I've been poring over Japanese results because they've had the set for a little while now, trying to figure out what is going to be good. And I think we got a top 10 list. But I do, before we get going, want to give just a quick honourable mention to Blaziken EX. I've been waiting for Blaziken EX because it's got a really nice ability that lets you accelerate an energy. It's not anything more exciting than that, but that's still pretty good, I think. I like this. It's quite good in Mamoswine decks. Yeah, we'll hear more about Mamoswine later. But as it stands at the moment, I don't think it's quite good enough to really make the list, although it did get pretty gosh darn close. So in at real number 10, we've got Wailord. And I think this is right. I think this deserves to be number 10. And partly, the alternate art here is just absurdly good. But this is also seeing a bit of play over in Japan. This is seeing a bit of play and a bit of success. I'm not claiming it's the best deck in the game, but I absolutely am claiming that it's viable and seeing a bit of play. Wailord has just got one attack, but it's 4 energy, 10 damage base, plus 50 more for each water energy on it. Plus, it's got 240 HP, and is a single prize Pokemon. So what you do here is you use our old friend Baxcalibur, you whack a whole bunch of water energy on there, and you hit for big damage while having big HP as a single prize Pokemon. And that honestly just kind of works. And I like this. This is nice. In at number 9, we got Iono's Kilowattrel and Iono's Voltorb. Now, we kind of have to combine cards a little bit here, because there's a lot of stuff going on in this set. Also, another stunning illustration rare and a pre-release promo. But there's something we have to kind of acknowledge here, and that is that a lot of these cards don't work on their own. Like Iono's Kilowattrel and Iono's Voltorb, they are in an Iono deck. And that's essentially what we're playing here. So this is me saying, in at number 9, we got the Iono's deck. Not Bellabolt. Bellabolt's coming up later on, because Bellabolt does exist by itself, interestingly enough. But this is just my way of saying this is a decent deck that deserves to be in at, like, number 9. So you got Kilowattrel that's got an ability that lets you discard an energy from it to draw until you've got 6 cards in your hand. And then you've got your Voltorb that does 20 damage plus 20 for each lightning energy attached to all of your Iono's Pokemon. They're pretty cool. Iono's decks are around, but they're not setting the metagame on fire. Similarly, in at number 8, we've got Hop Zacian and Hop Snorlax. Very similar kind of deal here. Also, look at the Snorlax here. Look at the alternate art, the pre-release promo Snorlax. Oh, it's wonderful. Love this card. I need to pick up this card, actually. Needs to happen. But basically, what we've got here is a Zacian, which has got a first attack that does 30 to the active and 30 to the bench for a single energy. And then we've got ourselves another attack, which can add up quite quickly as well. That's 4 energy, which is a bit too much, 240. But then you've got Snorlax, which adds on to do a whole bunch of extra damage. These Hops decks are doing fine, and you'll see this package popping up in some other decks as well. Archaladon will sometimes play Hop Zacian and Hop Snorlax as a little bit of a package. But even then, it's like I told you the other day, it's not like all of them are doing that and every Archaladon deck is playing them. The majority actually aren't. So it remains a decent option, but staying down at number 8. And in at number 7 is what I told you was the best of the trainers in terms of their own decks from Journey Together. It's Ens Zoroark, Ens Darmanitan, and Ens Reshiram. And as you can see, Darmanitan pre-release promo, and Reshiram is your buyer box promo for the enhanced booster box. And basically, what we've got here is a decent deck which is making some waves. Because we've got Zoroark that's got an ability which discards a card from your hand and then draws 2, and an attack that can copy any of your benched ends Pokemon attacks for 2 energy. And generally speaking here, most of the time your go-to attacker is Darmanitan. Either 30 damage for each basic energy in your opponent's discard pile, or 90 to the active, 90 to the bench at the cost of discarding all your energy. But then we've got Reshiram, that, again, is all for 2 energy because of copying with Zoroark, 20 damage for each damage counter on it, or just a flat 170. It gives you a bunch of options. It's a very powerful deck. It is the best of these on their own. Now, in at number 6, we're popping Iono's Bellibolt. Iono's Bellibolt, firstly, redonkulous illustration rare. And secondly, this is just a very good card. Lets you accelerate as much lightning energy as you like during your turn to Iono's Pokemon. But that can be to itself. So you can play it with the other Iono stuff I showed you a moment ago. That works, that is viable, that is a thing. But if you prefer, you can actually play it instead with Raging Bolt. And this works wonderfully with Raging Bolt, because Raging Bolt discards as much energy as you want from your Pokemon, doing more damage for each energy discarded. But of course here, you can just accelerate all the energy you want with Bellibolt, and then you're off and rolling. I will say, as I've told you previously, I need to warn you, Raging Bolt is still better. If you look at the results over in Japan, it's still better with Teal Mask Ogapon, so let's not get overly excited here. But still, this seems kind of fun, right? Yeah, I like this one. In at number 5, we've got Brock. And I don't think this is a particularly exciting card, I'm sorry. But essentially what we've got here is a card that lets you either grab 2 basic Pokemon or 1 evolution Pokemon from your deck. This is played as a one-of in a lot of decks right now. This is not a really fun and exciting card. It's a very, as we would say in England, a very meat and potatoes kind of card. But it's seeing a lot of play, and I think it deserves to be this high on the list. In at number 4, we've got Hops Cramorant. I love Hops Cramorant. And again, a lot of the time what we're doing here is we're mixing these cards together. So we're putting multiple trainer cards together because they only make sense together. Hops Cramorant doesn't. Hops Cramorant is just a legit good card. Single energy, 120 if your opponent's got 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. You can obviously boost this up with stuff like Snorlax to do extra damage. That works nicely. But you don't even have to do that. Basic Pokemon single energy 120 is just good. And we can boost it up in other ways if we like. But just having a competent attacker, you're going to see this popping up in so many random decks over the next couple of years, because there are going to be so many decks that are just going, right, if I can just have one turn where I attach 1 energy from my hand, get a decent amount of damage done while I can set up everything else, that's going to work. For that reason, this comes in at number 4. In at number 3, and this makes me absolutely delighted, it's Mamoswine. And I don't know, maybe I'm overrating this. I don't really care, truth be told. But I honestly think this is about where it is. I had it below Hops Cramorant, but I've just switched it, and I don't really mind. I will tell you, I was always going to overrate this. So, you know, I'm biased, and I don't even care. I love Mamoswine. But it is actually proving to be a good, viable deck over in Japan. And I think this is going to get better as time goes by. I actually think we're going to see Mamoswine seeing more play and more success as time goes by. We've got an ability that lets you search your deck for a Pokemon. And then for 2 energy, you do 180 plus 40 more for each stage 2 on your bench. Plus, it's got 340 HP, which is redonk. And this all adds up nicely. Maybe I'm just overly excited about getting an actual playable Mamoswine. All I'm telling you is I adore this card, and I'm putting it in at number 3. I could not justify putting it any higher. In at number 2, we've got Hops Double, and I will tell you, this list as a whole, I'm not sure this set is actually as good as some other sets we've seen. And a lot of this list, I think you could mix around and it might not be the end of the world, but I do think 1 and 2 are pretty easily set at 1 and 2. In at number 2, we got Hops Double. You evolve into it, it's gusting. It's a stage 1 that you evolve into, and it gusts. Technically, nominally, it is a Hops Pokemon, but that doesn't really matter. I'm not really counting it as a Hops Pokemon. It's just gusting. It's brilliant. I've already seen it popping up in a whole bunch of random decks over in Japan. That is just going to keep going as time goes by. Make no mistake about it, this is a redonkulous card. Get ready to see it everywhere. But in the number 1, it's actually Lily's Clefairy, and it's not the other Lily cards. It's Lily's Clefairy. That is the card that is coming in at number 1. I don't want anyone to think I'm putting the Lily cards at number 1. I'm not putting the Lily cards at number 1. I am putting Lily's Clefairy at number 1. It's actually the most sought-after card from a collecting standpoint. The special illustration rare, obviously. It's also the most playable card. And the thing is, what we got here is an ability that makes your opponent's dragon Pokemon weak to Psychic. Well, the hands-down best deck in Japan right now, bearing in mind they're just playing a bit in the future, Dragapult. That's what we're seeing right now. Dragapult is the best deck. This makes it weak to Fairy. You've then got an attack that does 20 damage plus 20 more for each bench Pokemon, yours and your opponent's. This is a great Dragapult counter. We're seeing this pop up as a one-of in, for instance, Gardevoir decks. We're also seeing it in its own deck. I mentioned it a few times on the channel recently. Basically, it's a box deck where you play it with Teal Mask Gogapon to accelerate energy and draw cards. You play it with Wellspring Mask Gogapon, which can both hit 2 Pokemon at once, or you can use Sob to stop your opponent retreating and lock them in place. You then play it with a Pikachu from Surging Sparks, which does big damage and doesn't get one hit KO'd. It's just a big box of different tricks. And you need, I know it's often listed as a Lily's Clefairy deck. I take a little bit of umbrage with this because Lily's Clefairy is generally played as a one-of in that deck. But regardless, great. Absolutely awesome. Great card. Sees a huge amount of play. This is the number 1 card in the deck. This and Hop Stubwall are the 2 cards from this deck which are really going to make a difference. The set as a whole, it's not phenomenal playability-wise. Because the Trainers Pokemon have underwhelmed and the set is built around Trainers Pokemon, it's led to a slightly subdued set overall in terms of playability. But you're going to see some of these cards around, and that's fun for me. But I've told you all about it now. So now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these cards you're looking forward to. Tell me which cards you think should be on the list. But remember, if you're putting cards on, you've got to take them off. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely It's a Coaster, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.